I find myself staring down at a 6'1" young man running away from me in a straight line with a bag over his head. We're in an empty baseball field. The sky is gray and the air is thick. In my hand is an old pistol. I'm attempting to aim at the young man's back. Yasmin is to my left, filming the young man run away on her camcorder. For a split second, I recollect the entire story. Johnny Schmidt was the athletic kind. He did track and field, basketball, baseball, and a bit of theater, but that didn't really go anywhere. Over the summer, he had a pretty eventful time. Not only did his basketball team win the championship, but he had a falling out with one of his friends that was on his team. Apparently, he caught his friend Frankie making out with this girl that he had a crush on. Johnny wasn't dating her, he just had some feelings for her that he was too late to confess. Though his friend didn't know about these feelings, Johnny retaliated. What did he do? A few months after we came back to school, I saw Johnny accidentally slip and fall on Frankie's leg, breaking it. It was gruesome. I saw a little bit of his bone sticking out. Then, out of his ass, Johnny quickly pulled out his acting skills and started to profusely apologize to his friend, even though it was no fucking accident. That piece of shit dove, arms first, into the boy's kneecap. Accident my ass. He only got a 2-day suspension, which doesn't look good on college transcripts, but you're telling me he was able to convince the principal that it was all an accident? After telling the whole story to Yasmin, a few days later, she orchestrated an execution, a proper one. She told me to bring the Mauser pistol we got from this other guy we murdered back in July. I left my house on a Saturday afternoon. Yasmin and her cousins picked me up and we drove to the baseball field. On our way there, I got to see her cousins again. Owen, Hector, and most notably, Ada. She's an aspiring tattoo artist in her early 20s. I didn't really get to talk to her the last time we saw each other, but based on our conversation in the car, she was testing me on my true intentions with Yasmin. She didn't put me on the spot like that, no, but she did tell me how thoughtful I was for giving Yasmin another opportunity for a proper execution. Nice woman. Halfway to our destination, a song from the 70s started to play on the radio. It was a Boogie Shoes by Casey and the Sunshine Band. Cousin Owen got hyped. Like, he told us that he and his ex-girlfriend used to listen to this song all the time. It's an interesting choice, I will say. I'm guessing this was the only song they listened to that didn't sound sappy or romantic. He sang the lyrics out loud. You could hear the passion in his voice after every breath he took. I couldn't help but join in. Once we got to the field, Owen and Hector opened the trunk and dragged out Johnny's tied-up body, throwing him on home plate. He had a potato sack over his head. Squirming, weeping, and begging, Johnny couldn't contain himself. While the cousins held him down as they cut the ties around his ankles, Yasmin whispered in his ears what he had to do. Yasmin soon came back to me and said that Johnny is going to run straight into the field as I try to shoot one of his legs. I felt frozen during this whole ordeal. I remember grabbing Yasmin's shoulder and asking, You sure no one will hear? She kissed my cheek and said, I don't see anyone else. Have you ever had a feeling of guilt, but as time went by, you started to not really care about what you're doing or what you just did? Yeah, I had that feeling the moment I raised the Mauser to the back of Johnny's head. The cousins laughed the second Johnny reacted to the end of the barrel touching his head. We're gonna see if you're faster than a bullet, Ada softly remarked. Now filming with her camcorder, Yasmin screamed, Go! And he took off, running just as fast as he did on the track. Considering the fact that he couldn't see, each step he took felt a bit unnatural. I pointed the Mauser down at his legs and fired a round, then another, then another. I find myself back in the present. I bring myself back to reality, telling myself that what I'm doing isn't in any way a godly act of justice. I look at my girlfriend, wondering what is her fascination with filming a person's death. Not wanting to waste any more bullets, I ask her if we can switch positions. Wait, no, not like that. She gave me the camera and showed me how to zoom in on Johnny, and I just gave her the pistol. and nothing else. She took off her right glove for the first time. At first, I was taken aback, but I couldn't help but notice that she had a nice looking hand. With her bare finger on the trigger, she started to aim. Before I knew it, 2 shots were fired, with the second one going directly in Johnny's left thigh. I see a faint splatter of blood shoot from Johnny's leg as he collapses in the grass. We left him there to bleed. When the day was over, we celebrated at Ada's place. We partied, danced, and sang karaoke. I made Owen sing that Earth, Wind, and Fire song, September. He was cool about it, and just like in the car, I even joined in halfway through the song. Apparently, we found out that there was a wild and hungry dog loose near that baseball field. None of the cousins knew about this, but that mutt just so happened to be there. So with his entrails hanging out and his face ripped to shreds, Johnny's body was found 5 days later. On Monday, my friend Noel came up to me asking if we could talk. Of course, me not wanting to be a dick, I said that we can talk in the boys' bathroom after school. The bathroom was always the place we talk about serious shit, so he didn't need to tell me twice where to meet him. When we got there, he started to tell me the story that happened to him about a month ago. Noel went to a party with some of his friends. He didn't know whose house they were going to, but he just wanted to tag along. Things got crazy fast. People were drinking hard and the music was ear-piercingly loud, he said. All Noel remembered was people jumping, screaming, dancing, and drinking. After that, he passed out. A few hours go by and he finally wakes up in his bed. He feels his arms tied to the headboard and his feet to the footboard. He's being restricted by clothes tied around his wrists and ankles. Before telling me this next part, he asked if I know who Kayla Joyce is. I said that I don't talk to her fat ass because she's annoying, but I firmly answered his question with a yes. He then told me that he looked down and he saw Kayla taking off his pants. Noel reasonably started to squirm, yelling at her to get off of him. She forcibly pushed his chest to the bed. He then looked to his left and saw 2 girls recording the whole thing on their phones. He pleaded for all of them to stop, but the next thing he knew was Kayla sucking his penis. He cried and screamed, but no one came to investigate. After a few minutes, Noel finally slipped his right hand out of the tied clothes and didn't hesitate and sucker punching Kayla off the bed. After fully untying himself, Kayla and her friends started to scold Noel for what he did. Understandably, Noel went off, screaming at the top of his lungs on how those bitches basically contributed to a rape. What really pissed me off is that Kayla didn't suffer any repercussions for what she did. With her dad being a cop, the video that the girls recorded didn't mean shit. The only clip that is available is the part where Kayla got punched. Noel got 1 week suspension. He lost some of his friends and he even got the nickname Blowy. After telling me the story, it made so much more sense why a police officer came to the school to talk about domestic violence a few weeks ago. Noel told me that everyone that he told that story to either didn't believe him or thought it was just funny. Tuesday was the day I questioned my morality. Though Noel told his story to other people, I still felt wrong about the idea of telling Yasmin about it. Classes with Kayla became a nightmare. I couldn't focus. All I could think of is how her head would look like on a stick, or how long it would take for rats to eat all of her intestines. When the day was over, I finally told Yasmin. When I finished the story, she looked uncomfortable. I haven't seen her like this before. All she said was that she'll think about it. Wednesday and Thursday go by, and I don't hear a single word from Yasmin. I respect her for taking the time to come up with a plan and process what I told her, but she's never acted this way before. During these 2 days, I wondered to myself if I should make a big deal about this, but I figured that I'll just talk to her when she has the time. Friday comes around, and she tells me the whole plan.